Welcome back to my channel, guys. My name is RaggyRog, and today I am bringing you a video in which I talk about a weird thing about Diglett. That's right, this little dirt Pokemon around which there is a lot of memes and controversy and speculation and rumor, and that's the way we like our Pokemon. We like our Pokemon to be mysterious and weird, and the less we know, sometimes that's the better. In the case of Diglett, we all appreciate the fact that no one really knows what's under the surface. There could be an entire huge body, it could just be a pair of tiny little legs. We don't know, and that's part of what makes Diglett fun. But did you know that in fact there's actually a whole controversy around Diglett's mouth, and that is to say, it is believed by a lot of people online that Diglett was intended to look like this. That's right. That big bulbous red nose that is just so adorable was apparently supposed to be a gaping mouth with a single tooth, and when you look at it and squint a little bit, you can kind of see and understand where the rumor comes from. The problem with this is that it just straight up isn't true. It is what we call a lie. It is a fabrication of reality, and while some people may have pitched this idea out of actual belief, it is not actually all that difficult to come to the conclusion that this is nothing but a rumor and it is in fact just his nose. So I'm sorry if you ever believed that, heard it, and were like, wow, it totally is actually meant to be a mouth. I'm sorry, but I'm about to show you the proof, and here it is. What we all started to construe as Diglett's mouth with a single tooth, making him look kinda silly, is actually in fact just what it was supposed to be, his nose. And we can see that because this is the actual original concept art by Ken Sugimori, the artist of all the original 151 Pokemon. So as you can see, if this were a mouth, it would not be protruding outside of the side of his body, like, I don't know, say an exterior body part like a nose would. So there you go. The point of today's video is not so much to debunk a theory or anything like that, so much as it is to encourage people to do their own research. I know that a lot of people got on the bandwagon of this actually being Diglett's mouth, and they were just wrong. The thing is, I actually debunked this with a quick Google search. All I looked up was original artwork, Diglett, and I found this image, which is, I'm willing to call it, more than enough proof that it's actually just his nose. So, I'm not a investigator, I'm not a detective, but I figured this out pretty quickly, which tells me that a lot of people are just being told something and are actually not doing any research. So there you go. While we are on the subject of Diglett, I actually also want to talk about the whole subject of what is under the surface of Diglett. What is under the ground? Is there a whole bunch more to see, or is there not? And I'm not wrong when I say that Game Freak has deliberately left this quite ambiguous, but in a series that has been running as long as it has, and has so many source materials to go by, and Pokedex entries, and games, and everything else, it's difficult to keep things completely mysterious, because we've been given a bunch of hints over the years, and specifically I want to draw your attention to this. This is a screenshot from Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Don't ask me which one, I think it's Explorers of Time, I could be wrong, it's been a while. In the scene we see the main character actually just striking up conversation with a Diglett who directly references their feet. We know for a fact that Diglett does in fact have feet, and it makes sense because at the end of the day you gotta remember that Diglett is actually based on a mole, and that is where the big red nose came from, while we're on that subject as well. Moles have big bulbous red noses, a different color from the rest of their body and fur, and Diglett is much the same. Similar to a mole, Diglett likely has little hands for digging. If we want to look at it logically, we can just apply the fact that he is a ground-type Pokemon known for digging and making tunnels, much like a mole, and because he was from the original 150 Pokemon, there was considerably less need for a Pokemon to be mysterious and weird and niche. He already was by virtue of just being one of the 151 Pokemon. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that regarding the mystery of what is under the ground beneath Diglett is probably just a tiny pair of claws, which Game Freak is likely never going to show us. Another thing I want to talk about today regarding Diglett is the inclusion of a new Pokemon from Scarlet and Violet, and that is Wiglet. And before you get your panties in a bunch, no, I know, Wiglet isn't Diglett. He is in fact not even a regional variant of Diglett. He is his own unique Pokemon completely separate from, but is weirdly similar in appearance to Diglett. My theory is that Game Freak now has to try and keep things fresh. They have to keep us guessing, and that is just the nature of how ongoing series are. So what do? They release trailer footage showing us a Pokemon that is weirdly similar in appearance to Diglett, and people start tweeting and making posts on YouTube and everything about what they think this new Pokemon is. Obviously, the consensus that everyone came to before the release of Scarlet and Violet was that this new white Pokemon was actually going to be a regional variant of Diglett based on the Paldea region. Turns out he is actually 100% his own unique Pokemon, water type and all, so it's weird to me that they took that route though. There have been Pokemon in the past who were like very similar in appearance to others, but took up a completely unique spot in the Pokedex. But those Pokemon were still kind of related, and in that case I am reminded of Pansage, Pansear, and Panpour, where it's like, technically yes, they are all unique Pokemon, but they were kind of like a trifecta of Pokemon. They were all related, albeit in a story fashion. It's weird to go into it like that. But in the case of Wiglet, he's actually not really related to Diglett. In fact, he couldn't be less related to Diglett. I'm sure that if we uncover a bunch of lore and history and everything, like in-game, we'll learn that they evolved in a more Darwinian sense, and, you know, they are the product of evolving in a more island-like habitat. But it's still weird to me that they took a Pokemon like Diglett and they gave it what looked like a regional variant. That is not a regional variant. And then they took it a step further and they gave it an evolution, Wugtrio, which is incredibly similar to Dugtrio. It is essentially the same Pokemon, albeit a different color, and it comes out of a rock. I believe Wugtrio may be a reference to coral or something that you might find in a reef. As for Wiglet, I'm still not sure what he's supposed to be, but he's definitely aquatic in nature, I guess. But that is weird. In any case, guys, these have just been a few musings today about Diglett, and if you like this kind of content and want to see me ramble on about other random Pokemon and just offer my thoughts and ideas and theories and debunk things that everyone talks about that just aren't true, then let me know down in the comments what else you want to hear about. In any case, if you enjoyed the video today, then make sure to give it a like and subscribe, and make sure to hit the bell icon as well so you can get instant updates anytime there's a new upload, and then you never have to miss out ever again. In any case, Ragamuffins, thank you so much for watching the video today. Like I said, let me know what else you want to hear about, if anything at all. Otherwise, just share it with your friends, and I'll be on my way. In any case, you have a good one, and I will see you next time.